on this computer. So today is the first Saturday of the month. So by tradition, we are going to talk about the Vishnu Sahasranamam with stem interludes. So in the last session that we had, we covered the answers to question number 3. So remember, Yudhistira asked a number of questions to Bhishma, and Bhishma replies to those questions. He remembers each and every of those questions and replies, gives his answer to those questions. So this was the answer to the question number 3. What was the question? Stuvantam kam praapnuyuh Maanavaah subham. So by praising Stuvanta, whom can a Maanavaah, means man, reach the moksha or peace and prosperity and all that. So in reply, Bhishma is saying that Jagat prabhuṁ devadevam anantam purushottamam stuvannama sahasrena purusha satatotitaha. So whoever chants the 1,000 names of the Supreme Purusha, the God of gods, who is always working for us, the Sri Mahavishnu, they will be bestowed with auspiciousness. So that's the reply he gave to the third question. So next is, in today's session, we will talk about his reply, Bhishma's reply to the fourth question. And what is the fourth question?
By meditating upon who can we reach?
That was, the third question was by praising whom, by glorifying whom. And the fourth question was by praying to whom, by doing pujas to whom. Kim archananta praapnuyuh Maanavaah subham. Kim means what? Archantah means do pujas, archanas. Praapnuyuh means attain. Maanavaah means people, man. Shubham means prosperity, auspiciousness, and things like that. So that was the fourth question. So in reply to that fourth question, so in English, the fourth question essentially means, by worshipping whom can a man reach auspiciousness, peace, and prosperity, and so on. So in reply to that question, Bhishma says, tameva cārcayan nityaṁ bhaktya purusham avyayam dhyayan stuvannamasyanscha yajamanastameva cha. This is the 11th sloka of Vishnu Sahasranamam. So
are we still in the preface?
Yeah, we are still in the preface. It's all what Bhishma and Yudhistira are conversing as it relates the importance of Vishnu Sahasranamam. So tameva, tam means that person, eva means only. So remember, in this last sloka, he was referring to Sri Mahavishnu. So he's continuing. That's why he says tam, means that person. Cārcayan means discussing. Nityaṁ means always. Bhaktya, with devotion. Purusham.
Purusha, person, or the best, sorry.
Yeah, Purusha is like the best person. Purushottama. Avyayam. Avyayam, what is Vyaya? Vyaya in Hindi, Sanskrit, and Indian languages, Vyaya means consumed. So Avyayam means cannot be reduced or cannot decay. When you consume something, it gets exhausted, right? So Avyaya means getting exhausted. Avyaya means never getting exhausted. So he's always there. He will never reduce. So that is the meaning of Avyayam. Dhyayan means Dhihi
Light.
means Dhihi means Gayatri mantra.
Oh, 9.
Yeah, mind. Buddhi. So dhyayan means meditate. Stuvan means glorify or praise, and
Nama
nama.
is name.
Yeah, nama. Stuvan nama stancha. So, so praising his name. Cha is and. Yajamana means owner. Yajamana is kind of owner or leader. Tameva is the same word that we started with. Him only. Cha
Yeah.
means and.
What's the
So,
the next
in
one.
Sanskrit, no, in Sanskrit words get, the order is a little different.
Like in Spanish.
And-
the participle comes before.
Yeah, the and can come towards the end also.
Like in Spanish.
Yeah.
Words are mixed up in Spanish too.
Yeah, so in fact, most of the world language is derived from Sanskrit, right? What is the word for table in Sanskrit, in Spanish? Mesa, right?
Yeah, mesa.
Mesa.
Yeah,
Are you sure?
M-E-S-A, I'm pretty sure.
Are you sure?
M-E-S-A, yeah, mesa. Mesa.
Uh,
Just
Spanish. Anyway, mesa is
it's
a
right.
oh yeah, desk table. So mesa is actually from the Sanskrit word mesa. Mesa means table. So a lot of words of India, of world languages, are actually derived from Sanskrit.
What about tu? Does tu mean you in Sanskrit as well?
Yeah, in Hindi, what is tu?
Tu is you in Spanish
Yeah.
and Hindi.
So, so by always meditating upon Stuvan Nama and worshipping archantah, and by prostrating at the same Purusha who does not change, who has no decay, man can reach true auspiciousness. So
Where
this
does
is the
it
reply.
say does not change?
See, Purusha who does not change.
Oh, nityaṁ. Nityaṁ is always. Oh, never mind.
Nityaṁ is always. Oh, you mean who does not change? Oh, where in Sanskrit is who does not change? I think the word avyaya is meant to mean who does not change. But actually, avyaya means who has no decay.
Who never leaves.
Yeah, who never reduces, who never gets exhausted. So it is simplified to mean who does not change.
Well, if they start off good, then if they don't change, they'll must be good.
So we're just talking about the God.
No, it's not mental change, right? It is a physical change also. So God does not change. By personality, by physical nature, by mental nature, by any nature, God does not change. There's no decay. So we change, right? See, when I was young, my head was full of hair, so much so that the barber would not be able to move his comb through my hair. It was that thick. Now all the hair is decayed, it's gone, right? So that is the nature of life. Everything in world decays, but God does not decay. We talked about it in the Veda class also, right? Everything decays. All the molecules, everything, they decay.
Yeah.
But God does not.
We talked about how atoms can.
Yeah. So In last class on Bhagavad Gita, last week's class on Bhagavad Gita, we learned about one kind of meditation. What was that meditation?
One of focusing on your
on the middle of your eyebrows, and then stabilizing your breath. So that was what we talked about in the last class, meditation. And we discussed that it is the basis for many spiritual organizations. There are a lot of spiritual organizations which are based solely on that principle. Either focus on the forehead or focus on the heart, focus on something else, breath, and then stabilizing the breath and doing experiments with the breath. So the many organizations are based on that. And today's sloka in Vishnu Sahasranamam tells you another way of meditating. And this way of meditation is also the basis for some other organizations. There are many other organizations which are based on this kind of meditation, which is described in this sloka. And it is called as Transcendental Meditation, TM.
To transcend is to go on another level, right?
Yeah. So by doing this meditation, you go into a different level. That's why it's called Transcendental Meditation, TM. In short, it's called TM. It is popular in America also, USA also, not just in India. It was introduced in India in the 1950s by somebody called Maharshi Mahesh Yogi. So he introduced Transcendental Meditation, but it has become very popular in the US. So, in fact, when you go to, see, these days, there's a lot of stress on alternate medicine. Instead of taking pills, people realize that pills can have side effects and they can cause damage. So they are looking for alternate ways of curing diseases. And one of the ways to cure diseases is the transcendental meditation, or in general meditation, mindfulness. So the last week's sloka or this week's sloka, both are good solutions for curing. So transcendental meditation is about repeating a mantra. And in this sloka, Bhishma is asking us to repeat the Narayana mantram. You meditate upon Lord Vishnu or Narayana, right? So you keep on repeating the same name, Vishnu, Lord Vishnu's name, or Narayana's name. Stuvan Nama means meditating upon the name. So that is basically your transcendental meditation. In fact, that is the other way that I get sleep. If thoughts disturb me, I use this technique to get sleep. I use the mantra meditation or the transcendental meditation to get into sleep. Just the meditation of God removes all disturbing thoughts, but you have to make it a priority. So compare the thoughts that disturb you, which don't allow you to go to sleep, as a line, straight line on a paper. So paper is like sleep, right? Pure, white, attractive, peaceful, all that, right? Now you draw a line on it.
And completely ruins it.
Yeah, it ruins it. It disturbs. Just one line ruins your white paper. Same thing. Some thoughts ruin your mental peace and sleep. So now you have to somehow reduce this line on the paper. Now you cannot remove it, right? Once it's on the paper, it's hard to remove it. Even if it is, even if you draw with a pencil the line, if you erase it, there's still some marks. So the purity is gone anyway. So the goal is to make it smaller. How can you make that line smaller?
Cover it up or use an eraser to make it lighter.
Erase it, cover it.
Or cover it.
So one way to do it is draw another line which is bigger in size.
Oh, how to make one line smaller?
Yeah.
Another one.
So you draw a bigger
Then
line
you have to
beside.
make that line smaller.
No,
What
wait,
if that one
wait.
is a
If that one
peaceful
is,
line?
yeah, if that is a peaceful line, suppose that's a highlighter,
Or a white line.
yeah, or some other line, then a line which is more peaceful to you. So you draw that line, and it should be bigger than this original line. Then the original line becomes smaller. So what we are doing through this meditation is we are drawing a bigger line. And what is that bigger line? It is the God, meditation upon God, the mantra, right? What is mantra? Mantra is basically something that cleans up the mind.
That
Mantra,
saves the mind.
that saves the mind. Tra is saving, man is mind. So something that saves the mantra, so saves the mind. So when you repeat the mantra again and again, you're saving your mind from disturbing thoughts.
Because your thoughts go to the mantra, which is good.
Yeah, so the idea here is the thoughts will not go away. The thoughts will not go away. They keep coming back. The key here is both in last week's meditation and this week's meditation. The key here is to make your meditation more important than the thoughts. Thoughts keep coming back because that is physiology. You cannot control it. When something worries you, the whole body works in a different way. And sometimes it's not in your control. Most of the times it's not in your control. So the only way that is in your control is, we talked about it some time back also, what is the one thing that is the most powerful and that can be controlled by the person. And it is a quality only for the human beings. It is animals don't have that quality, for instance. Other living beings don't have that quality. And it is that particular quality which makes human beings superior to all other living creatures.
A mind.
A mind, but mind, we talked, is not controllable, right? Even in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says controlling mind is very difficult because it's physiological. Something troubles you, your mind automatically, because the mind is wired to the senses. Remember, we talked about neural networks. Your senses are the inputs.
We have a higher consciousness.
Yeah, so yeah, consciousness, consciousness, and what else related to consciousness? How do you gain consciousness? So think even subtler.
An
So-
ethical part of your brain?
No, it is your attention, right?
Oh,
Your attention. That is what, see, animals don't have attention. They cannot focus, they cannot meditate, they cannot do all those great things. So that is what separates a human being from the other living creatures. The power of attention, the power of focus, the power of meditation. Meditation is nothing but attention, taking your attention, getting your attention into your control. So the thoughts will keep coming, disturbing thoughts will keep coming. The liver, see, it is said that the liver starts processing the stress and all that stuff at 3 a.m. in the night. Why do people wake up at 3 a.m.? Because biological clock, the biology, all the stress that you put to your body or to your mind, the liver starts processing at 3 a.m. That's what the scientific studies have shown. So if you eat junk food, all French fries and deep fried bhajis, deep fried snacks, so all that is stress on your system. And that stress, liver works on that stress at 3 a.m. So that's why sleep is important. So by 3 a.m. you should have decent sleep. So 3 a.m. and that's when many people get up if they are worrying too much. So the body automatically generates those thoughts.
Is that why there's a myth that is that why there's a myth that goes around that says 3 a.m. is the scariest time of all the days?
Yeah, maybe.
What if you ate veggies instead of that?
Then you will get a peaceful sleep. See, all this taste-related stuff that you do, eating lots of sugar, eating lots of oily food for sake of taste.
Kama.
It's all, karma. So it all results in stress on your system. Your liver gets stressed. Your pancreas gets stressed.
What's pancreas?
Pancreas is a very important organ which is responsible for generating energy. It actually generates insulin, and insulin is the enzyme that helps burn the food, converts the food into energy. So what is Einstein's law, energy law?
E equals mc squared.
Yeah, E is equal to mc squared.
Energy is mass times acceleration, right?
Speed of light. C is speed of light. So, so your food that you eat is getting converted into energy. The energy needed to pump your heart, to push air in and out of your lungs. All that is energy that's needed. And when you're awake, you need energy to walk, to talk, to do everything. So where is that energy coming from? It's all coming from your food, and food is matter. So the matter is getting converted into energy. But remember, you're multiplying it with C squared. And what is the value of C? It's huge. So that means even small quantity of matter can result in a lot of energy.
Does that mean you need does that mean a little bit of energy? A lot of energy only goes for a little bit of time. If you have too much energy, you have too much energy.
Well, yeah, but we use energy really, really quickly.
Yeah, so even a small little quantity of food will generate a lot of energy, right? So you don't need a whole lot of food. If you eat unnecessary food, of course, children need a lot of food because they need protein. Protein is needed to grow. So they need food. But once you reach adult age, like 20s, you don't need that much food. Your consumption of food should go down. Ajirne bhojanam visham. So any food that is in excess, which cannot be digested, becomes poison. Right? So, so any junk food, any excessive food that you eat for sake of taste is actually stressing your body. It is stressing your body. So all that stress is somehow goes to the brain. Worrying thoughts will keep coming. The body, that is physiological change. So how do you control it? So you control it just like in machine learning, right? How do you control some features getting a lot of weight? So you reduce the weights. There are ways to reduce weights. So same thing here. Spirituality is all about reducing weights. In machine learning, it's called regularization. So spirituality is nothing but regularizing. You become more regular. So why do people fast, for instance?
To stop their habit.
No, to regularize all the excessive food that they may have eaten in the last 3 months. They are giving a chance to the body to burn it up. So you're basically regularizing. So every practice, spiritual practice, can be thought of as regularization. In machine learning, it's called regularization, reducing the weights for the features. Right? So So it's all a matter of weights. The whole learning process, the whole mind is a play of weights, right? So, and the weights can be controlled in the human mind by using your attention, focus.
Oh, whatever you focus on has a heavier weight.
Okay? Yeah, that's right. Whatever you deliberately, or rather the other way around is also true. The more weight you attach to something, the more your focus goes to that. So for instance, you think a lot about something in life, like a good SAT score. You prepare from your 8th grade onwards for the best possible SAT score. Then what that means is that you're giving a whole lot of weight to that particular feature in your life. And when you give a lot of weight, your attention automatically goes there. So you have to play with the weights in your mind. Which should get more weight, which should not get more weight. So in this case, we want the meditation to get more weight. And when will that get more weight? Typically, for spiritually oriented people, the abstract concepts help. They follow the abstract concepts much more easily. Like Einstein, it was pretty easy for him to follow Bhagavad Gita or science, STEM. But for some people, they are more gross, like we talked last. Yeah, they are more gross. They don't believe in anything until they see, until they experience, until they get something material out of it.
Aren't kids kind of like that?
Yeah, kids to start with, some kids, and most kids, but there are kids like Adi Shankaracharya, and there are many kids who demonstrated superior qualities right from their birth. But some kids, they are very, to start with, they are gross. They believe in gross things, right? So for them, you have to, how do you make things get more weight?
Give more importance to them?
You tell something material, something more gross, something more physical in nature.
That's why when we did science in the earlier grades, most of it was just experiments and not learning.
Yeah, see, because many people learn better or get their attention better by physical means, by experience. So that is the reason why in our Sanatana Dharma, they say that all good things happen to you if you pray to God. So you are going to, so if you want to see, like even the President of the United States, Bill Clinton, I think Bill Clinton, I remember very well reading the news item. So he went through some difficult stages. His presidency was was in trouble actually at one point of time. So I remember that day in the newspaper, reading in the newspapers that he actually visited church. He performed some prayers, hoping that he will get through the troubles. So the common belief in spirituality is that if you pray to God, something good is going to happen. It might still happen, but the main reason is that when you say such things, your focus automatically, you'll automatically attach a whole lot of weight to that. When you say that you go to temple, good things happen, you attach a lot of weight to temples, right? So that is one way to increase the weight and your attention to that particular thing. So that is the reason why since childhood people say, parents and grandparents say, pray to God before the exam, you'll get honor roll, right? So in a sense, they are increasing the weight for God, for the feature called God in your mind, right? So when you think of God as avyaya, for instance, that means somebody who does not have a decay, who never decays. who never becomes old, who never ages. And Purusha, Purushottama means the best of the human beings, the best of the any person. And what else is there? All these qualities. If you think of God and all his qualities, in fact, Bhishma is asking us to memorize or keep meditating on the 1,000 names, 1,000 qualities of God. So when you think of God in those terms, the weight for God automatically goes up, and it becomes much more easy for you to pay attention, right? And it is true also. I mean, all those qualities are true. Not that they are made up to just trick you, but they are all true. And even saying that good things happen to you if you pray is also true. Why? Because when you are good, everything comes back. It's just the whole world, I believe, is basically a reflection of your own thought process. See, in Matrix, there's a movie called Matrix. Did you hear about it? So they explore a lot of funny, interesting concepts there. What, just for the sake of thinking, what if this whole world was just an illusion? You don't exist. You don't exist. This laptop doesn't exist. What is happening is just my mind is imagining that you are there, the laptop is there, the screen is there.
We used to do stuff like that for journal prompts last year.
Yeah. So maybe that's really maybe the case. Maybe there's nobody else. All this is in our mind. The perception, the whole thing. Because I mean, how am I sensing you? With my brain, right? My eyes send a signal to my brain eventually. If my brain stops processing the signal, then I don't see you, right? So what
happens when you're dead? You don't hear them. Nothing sends to your brain. You don't respond.
Yeah, brain dead. That's why they are called brain dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, people who are brain dead, they cannot see, they cannot talk.
They cannot feel or hear or do anything.
Yeah, they cannot do anything. Their brain stops processing anything. So everything is in the brain anyway.
It runs.
So what if everything is unreal and it's all happening in the brain? See, in virtual reality, what happens? You just wear some goggles and you feel as if you are inside Taj Mahal or you are inside Eiffel Tower and things like that, right?
Another thing we talked about was, what if your memories and everything was just injected to you like a second ago?
Exactly.
None of this is actually real. It only happened a second ago.
Right. So it's all in the brain. So we never know the truth. We don't know. We just have to believe. For now, we are believing that you are real, and the laptop is real, and all this Facebook and all that is real. But maybe they are not real. Maybe they are implanted in my mind, in my brain. Maybe.
How can all of us think the same thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that is the concept that was explored in this movie called Matrix. Did
they actually come up with the conclusion?
No, it's just an interesting concept. So if you look at this Matrix movie, it's a fiction film. So this is Wikipedia, right? So they explore this concept. Is an example of cyberpunk 7. See, heightened perception.
What does matrix mean?
Matrix is actually a mathematical term. So a mass of fine-grained rock in which gems are embedded, an environment or material in which something develops, a surrounding medium or structure. So in math, it is a structure. So the film popularized a visual effect known as bullet time, in which the heightened perception of certain characters is represented by allowing the action within a shot to progress in slow motion while the camera appears. Okay, not that. She flees, pursued by an abandoned hotel with a major city. She answers a ringing public phone and vanishes just before an agent crashes, and all that stuff. It's really very funny. So I don't remember if that is exactly the concept that was proposed in this movie, but something like that. So it is quite thinkable, right? What if the whole thing was imaginary? So that is the thing. So we don't know what is true.
And you can't really say, but how can we all know the same thing? Because you might just be imagining that the person next to you is thinking the same thing, but they aren't.
Oh yeah, like the color orange might actually be blue for one person, and the color blue might actually, like, we don't know if the way we see one color or we see one thing is the same.
Yeah, that is at a smaller level, but at a very big level, right? At a very subtler level, deeper level. What
if there's nothing at all?
Yeah, what if there's nothing at all?
There's actually like a theory or a religion that believes that there's nothing at all beyond our after this life.
Yeah.
And then you completely lose consciousness.
Yeah, so it's all debatable. So so for us, at least we have a history, the Sanatana Dharma, which is established for many years. It has survived the test of time, Sanatana Dharma. Years and years it has been in existence.
But how do we know that all of this is real?
There's no proof. There's no guarantee. There's nothing. No amount of science can prove that.
What does make sense is that if someone came up with this really big, awesome story, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
Coming up with all of the names and everything that people did. It's like making a whole new book, a whole new world.
Yeah. So the idea here is we need a concept, a feature, like in machine learning language, a feature which has the highest weight or the biggest weight. We need a feature in our life which has the highest or the biggest weight, to which we give the most importance. If we believe in that concept or entity or feature in our life, which has the most weight, then all other worries, all other troubles, everything that bothers you will get a lower weight. That means lower attention automatically. So that is the reason why you should give God most weight. You should recite the qualities of God. You should discuss the qualities of cārcayan means discuss. So you should spend a lot of time, all your time, about God. So why does Bhishma say all these things? He's asking us to meditate. In the previous sloka, he asked us to, he asked in the sense he tells that glorifying the name of the God, right, is the way out for prosperity. And in this sloka, he's saying that you meditate upon him, you worship him, you prostrate at him. And so why do we have to do all this? Why not just stick to meditation? Why didn't he say just meditate and you're good? Why is he asking us to do so many things?
Because meditation, because you get to say meditate.
Well, that's to meditate on.
Yeah.
You have to talk louder or come closer.
You can't just say meditate without saying what to meditate on.
He already said what to meditate on. He said you meditate upon God, Stuvarnama, meditating upon Him. So why do you have to do all this? Okay, in general, right?
Because
Why do we have all these festivals? And why do we have so many stotras? Why do we have so many? Why do we have to recite Lalita Sahasranamam, Vishnu Sahasranamam, Saraswati Sahasranamam, Lakshmi Sahasranamam? Why do you have so many?
because there are so many things in life, and
Yeah.
also we need to keep our beliefs and cultures alive, or else they just.
The thing is, our mind by nature is chanchala, means random. It strays randomly. It goes here and there. So you cannot hold it steady on anything for a very long time. I mean, with practice you may be, but for ordinary mortals who have to do their duties, get up in the morning, brush their teeth and do all that stuff, take bath and all that, it is very hard to stay focused for the whole day on something. So that is the reason why all these different ways of increasing the weight of God are there. So for some time you meditate, for some time you worship using puja, Shodasopachara, upachara, 64 types of upacharas are there that you can offer to the God. So for some time you do those 64 types of offerings to the God, services to the God. For some time you prostrate. Like in India, they do what is called as Purlu Dandalu.
Dandalu or Malalu?
No, Danda means folding hands. So Purlu Dandalu means they go round the temple on they go around the temple on their see, like this.
What are porlu? What are porlu?
Porlu Dandala means they go around the temple in
రాష్ట్రానికి ప్రత్యేక హోదా కోరుతూ పద్మావతి అనే మహిళ తిరుపతి గరుడ విగ్రహం వద్ద పొర్లుదండగా ఈ కార్యక్రమాన్ని చేపట్టినట్లు ఆమె తెలిపారు. పొర్లుదండాలతో గరుడ విగ్రహం చేరుకుని 108 కొబ్బరికాయలు కొట్టారు. ప్రత్యేక హోదా విషయంపై కేంద్రం ఒక
all around the huge temple for almost half a day, one day, like that.
But don't they stop to get up and do other things?
They do that. They control all that. That is the dedication. So,
what about fasting?
For that much time, they practice and they do it. They somehow do it.
Do they do that too?
Yeah, some kids also do that.
What about, but they can't fast.
So we try to increase the weight of God in our mind in so many ways, right? One reason is because our mind cannot stay focused for a very long time with our duties. Second is because it needs some entertainment, some variety. Variety is the spice of life, right? Somebody said. So it needs some variety. So it cannot all the time focus on meditation. So that is the reason why you have all these ways. Prayers, prostrating, meditating, chanting, discussing. So what we are doing today is discussing. And what?
Satsang.
Yeah, satsang. So these are all the ways to increase the weight of God in your mind. when the weight of God in your mind goes up, nothing can bother your mind. Because everything is in the mind. Everything is wired to the mind. Any perception in this world has to go through mind. Without going through mind, nothing is possible, right? Whether it be happiness, whether it be sorrow, anything has to go through mind, the brain. So when you increase your weight, the weight of God in your mind, then automatically all other things will become lesser in weight, lesser important. Weight, by weight I mean importance, like in machine learning. Right? So this Vishnu Sahasranamam is basically a way to increase the weight for the mind, weight for God in your mind. 1,000 qualities, all noble qualities, all great qualities. They're all true, but still they help in increasing the weight for the God in your mind. So when you think of the 1,000 qualities, when you pray to God, you have to keep all these qualities in mind. Avyaya, then Nitya, then Yajamana. So these are all qualities of God. He is always perennial, Nitya. Because in this case, Nitya means differently, has a different connotation. But he is Nitya, he is Avyaya, he is Purusha, he is Yajamana. So if you remember all these qualities, you'll automatically improve your weight for God in your mind. So only when we realize God as supreme can the line become longer. Remember, the goal was to reduce the line.
Make the line of distractions
Yeah. So
smaller.
to do that, you need to draw a bigger line, and you can make this bigger line bigger only when you remember God in his complete glory, all the 1,000 qualities. And how do you remember all the 1,000 qualities at once? By repeating 1,000 qualities again and again and again and again and again. So you automatically form a picture of the 1,000 qualities in your mind. You somehow come up with a visualization. See, what are in your textbooks? There are figures, right? So what are the figures? They're basically summaries of the text. An image speaks 1,000 words. Picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So 1,000 words are just captured. So like that, 1,000 names can be captured mentally inside, provided you repeat those 1,000 names again and again and digest those 1,000 names. So that is the goal of Vishnu Sahasranamam. So,
would thinking of God or Narayana as a whole also digest the 1,000 names?
Yeah.
Or maybe not the 1,000.
So when you repeat the mantra, you have to think Narayana as the Supreme Lord. So just repeating the mantra will not help, right? So suppose there's a what is it called?
Machine?
Yeah, suppose there's a sewing machine, and you just keep on thinking about sewing machine. Do you think it's going to help?
No.
In any way? No.
Unless
In fact,
do something about it.
In fact, you may not even like to think about a sewing machine.
It just comes.
Right? So suppose next time when you don't get sleep because of all these bothering thoughts, just try thinking about sewing machine. Will you get sleep?
No.
I really doubt. Right? You will not even
Useless.
feel like, yeah, it's useless. So that is the reason why you should think about something that is far, far supreme, superior, full of glory.
Would it work if, because if you think about a sewing machine, you'll feel like doing something about the sewing machine. So when you were going to sleep, could you also think about sleep itself?
Yeah, you could think about sleep, but again, you have to draw that line longer than the bothering
And
thoughts.
sleep is hard.
So your wait must be longer for the sleep, but that is hard to achieve because we grow up with the thought that sleep is negligible, sleep is irrelevant, sleep is not needed. Many people have that opinion. Sleep is not needed. They give very little importance to sleep. At least that is the kind of belief that I grew up with. Of course, I did not fully believe it, but people around me used to say that sleep is just useless. Why do you sleep? So just thinking about sleep is not enough if you don't give the importance. But God, thinking of God and his 1,000 qualities will allow your brain to give a lot of weight to God and just drag all the attention to God, right? So God, Lord Vishnu, as is said here, he is avyaya. He reduces everything else, but he himself never gets reduced. Why? Because he is the Atma, he is the soul inside all of us. He is the soul inside what we consider as non-living, and he is the soul inside what we consider as living. Right? So he is there everywhere. He is.
So everything is living.
Yeah. So, and there's no decay for soul. So that is the concept that we should have in mind when we think about God, or when we do all these things, when we meditate, when we prostrate, when we worship, we need to think about God along those lines. You automatically think because that is built into your belief. Even if even the worst of the persons in the world who lives by troubling others, killing others, and all sorts of things. There are some mafia gangs in the world, right? So those people are really bad, right? In our sense, they are really bad. In God's eyes, we don't know. In God's eyes, also they are bad. Typically, we should not make that judgment. We should leave the nature and God to make that judgment. But who we consider as bad, they also, when they pray to God, they also believe in God, right? But they don't believe God in the same depth as we do. If they did, then their thoughts would be different, right? All the time, if you think about the 1,000 best qualities of God, your values will automatically change. For instance, if you talk a lot about how junk food is bad for you, your belief automatically changes. Even if the taste drags you there, your belief will prevent you from eating junk food next time. All that deep fried stuff and all that. So in younger ages, the body, the physiology is able to take the stress, but in older ages, slowly, everything comes with a price, right? Everything works for only certain number of times, like the what do you call that, garage shutter. It has fixed number of rotations.
Really?
Typically 10,000 or something, or I don't know how many, but it has. After that, the spring breaks. Same thing with anything, right? You take any fixture in the bathroom or anywhere.
You flick it on several times,
Yeah,
and then it just bursts.
it just can take only that much level of stress. So same thing with your body, your liver. So when you're young, it is just, the count is just 20, 30, 100,000, 2,000, 4,000. But when you do it repeatedly, even till the age of 30, 40, people are dying at the age of 30, 40 and all that stuff. Why?
Stress. depression.
Yeah, because they have been overusing their system. Some parts of their system they have been overusing again and again, and the use is exhausted. So, so the same thing, right? If you talk about all these things, slowly your attitude changes. You will stop eating junk food. Even if your taste, even if the taste tempts you, if you talk about all these things again and again, if you talk about how the system is stressed because of junk food and how the liver can tolerate junk food only this much of time. So all that, right? Even stress, the system can take only some extent of stress. Some people are born with more ability to handle stress, some people with less ability. But everyone has a limit. So if you talk about all these good things, slowly your beliefs change and your habits change and all that. So that is the reason why we should talk about the 1,000 qualities of God, the Vishnu Sahasranamam, the 1,000 qualities of Lord Vishnu. When we talk about that, our beliefs automatically change. We will mend our ways. So the rate at which we mend our ways differs. Like the bad person, we talked about this bad person who goes around killing people and doing thefts, right? So for them, the belief is at very superficial level. They believe that God is great and all that, but they don't even know about the qualities of God. So for them, the transition is very small, very slow. But for us, if we remember 1,000 names of God, 1,000 qualities,
every night.
Yeah, every night, every minute, then slowly our beliefs will change drastically.
But how can we remember God every minute? Because we need our intention for other things, don't we?
So 1,000 words can be expressed in a small figure, right? Which can be remembered. Same thing, 1,000 qualities can be visualized in the image. You form some kind of an image in your mind for the 1,000 names. And you can form that only when you repeat again and again. See, how do you draw a figure? You are given a text. See, for one of my student projects, master's projects, a team of my who worked under me, their problem was to generate images from text using deep learning. So how do you do that? How do humans generate figures from text? By understanding it again and again, right? Going deeper and deeper. You try doing the same thing. You read a paragraph from somewhere, from science, from social studies, and try to draw a figure. That's a good experiment for you.
Draw whatever you read.
But
yeah, you summarize whatever you read in a figure.
Like a chart kind of thing?
Yeah. It's worth 1,000 words, right? So it could be a chart, it could be anything. You look at so many science figures, right? So all these science figures are a result of that kind of thinking.
Like a model.
Yeah. So if you look at these pictures, so this is all biology. We are getting biology, hit by biology mostly. But there are other images. Okay, let us do physics.
Physical science?
See, this is a concept map, of course.
There. Newton's second law of motion.
Maybe we are not searching with the right keywords, but unfortunately, okay, development of force concept. So how do you come up with this kind of a figure?
By reading something.
See, like this kind of a figure. By thinking about it. So when you think about it, you will think of a person standing here, another person standing here, a third person standing here. And when this person exerts force this way, this person exerts force this way, the person will neither move like this, will neither move like that, but will move in this direction. So many words are captured in this one figure. How do you do that? By thinking about it. So that's the reason why thinking about the 1,000 qualities is important. So the whole idea of all the religious practices, all the spiritual practices, is to increase the weight of one single thing. Either it is God. In Vipassana meditation, it is just the breath. They say, don't even think about God, just breath. Give all the importance to breath. That is what Bhagavad Gita also says, right? That's one form of meditation. So in this case, it's God. But my suggestion is both God and meditation, anything good. Increase the weight for anything good. It will do you good eventually. Whether it be breath or whether it be the God's name, increase the weight. That's the whole idea. Okay, with that, let us end our session here with our prayer. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Sanmangalani Santu.